Good morning and welcome to another one of Drew's Book Reviews. So today I am reviewing Michael Crichton's Dragon Teeth. Now I have to say, Michael Crichton was one of the first authors that I absolutely fell in love with his books, with the Andromeda Strain, which I read like 20 years ago. But overall, I've absolutely loved Michael Crichton's writing, and when he died back in 2008. I did not expect to see any more books by Michael Crichton be published, which is pretty disappointing. But then one day I was at the bookstore and I found Dragon Teeth. Wasn't looking for Michael Crichton, so I didn't expect there to be anything there. But it turns out there was Dragon Teeth, and I, of course, had to pick it up and buy it. So, the story of Dragon Teeth follows the famed paleontologists Marsh and Cope during the famous Bone Wars of the old American West. Now, I have to say, I learned something. I didn't even know such a thing as the Bone Wars existed until I read this book. And one of the things that I've absolutely loved about Michael Crichton is he's really good at taking real life events and real life people, historical figures, and writing a fast-paced, energetic account, fictional story account based on those people and based on those events. And the Bone Wars and Dragon Teeth is just one of those books that really does that really well. Really highlights the rivalry that was between Cope and Marsh and the old American West when it came to digging up and finding new dinosaur bones and discovering them. So our story primarily follows a character who goes by the name of Johnson. So he's a bit of a guy that didn't really know what he was doing with his life. He's just kind of floating and passing through life. And the only reason he ended up going out to the far west of America, the Wild West as we'd call it, was because of a bet he made that he would go. And so first he initially joins Marsh on his quest and his expedition with his class to search for these dinosaur bones, but Marsh becomes increasingly suspicious that he is in fact a spy by his rival Cope. And eventually he is abandoned and left behind, but he does eventually connect and meet up with Cope and join his expedition instead. And so it really kind of follows what happens with him, with Cope and Marsh kind of being the supporting characters as opposed to the primary characters within this book. So throughout his adventures in the Wild West with both Cope and Marsh, Johnson eventually finds himself separated from both of them, having to protect essentially a ton of dinosaur bones from those who try to take it and profit from them. Now, most of the people believe that he's not protecting dinosaur bones at all, that that's just a cover for some other object or thing of greater value, such as gold. Oh, he finds himself in the town of Deadwood, where he has to protect his bones from all the bad guys that want to get them, take them from him to seek to profit on their own. So it really kind of is this mix of the scientific paleontological adventure mixed with the classic Wild West Western that you have there. You've got gunfights, you got corrals, you got the saloon, you've got, the trains and the Indians, and just all those elements that make for a classic Wild West story, but mixed with paleontology and a rivalry between Cope and Marsh, who are constantly trying to discredit each other, constantly trying to block and stop each other, constantly trying to prevent each other from finding or discovering the next greatest discovery and taking all the credit for themselves in the paleontological world. So really just a really interesting play out of their story and the rivalry between them. And, one of my favorite things about reading is when I could read a book and learn about something I didn't know about before. And I didn't know about the Bone Wars. I didn't know that such a thing ever happened. which I thought was just awesome. I love it when I could learn something new. Learned about who Cope and Marsh were. Two people, two names I'd never even heard of before. So I had no idea that they existed. So that is one of the things I think is great about Michael Crichton, is I've always learned about something new when I've picked up one of his books to read. And I'm so glad I picked this one up. And I would definitely highly recommend it. And while I wouldn't say it's the best of Michael Crichton's work, it definitely is an enjoyable read. It's fast-paced, it's a quick read, and it definitely has a writing style that keeps you interested and keeps you wanting to read more. So definitely check it out. Check out Dragon Teeth. I would recommend it if you haven't already. Really good and enjoyable book. And I'm glad that I picked it up, and I'm glad that I found it because, like I said, I'm a really big Michael Crichton fan. So up next, we'll be reading Red Moon and Black Mountain by Joy Chant. We'll see how this is. Never even heard of this author before or this book at all. So we'll see how that goes. So definitely stay tuned for the next review on that. And again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and viewing this video. And if you like it, please don't forget to comment or subscribe below. And look forward to the next Drew's book reviews. So again, all my links could be found in the description below. So my Twitter, Facebook, links will all be found in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have yourself a fantastic day.